All right, the lady is now on. Christina, take it away.
What's up, y'all? I'm so excited. So listen, I have to tell y'all, she kind of preluded to that. I don't know how you say that word. She kind of alluded, we'll just go with that, to the fact that we met several years ago on a shopping spree. Okay. Some things that you probably know about Jordan that also apply to me. We're both type 3s. And achiever is definitely in our identity. And so we built kind of similarly to Senior Ruby. Probably a lot of me focus, a lot of what can I do? How fast can I do it? Who can I impress? Who will recognize me? Can I win? What can I achieve? And so I show up at this shopping spree. This was, I don't know, 2 years in, 3 years in, I don't know, 2 years in, 2.5 years in, maybe. And didn't really know anybody. This was the year that Jules couldn't go on the on Leaders Retreat. And so my upline is one of my best friends. Her name's Brittany Howard. She's actually the brains behind this whole thing, just so you know. But so I was kind of by myself for the first time. Typically I had gotten to be in Brittany's shadow. Anybody ever had like somebody you can be like, that's your safe space? So this event, no safe space. So we're on the shuttle on the way to the cruise, and Jordan and her wild hair and really loud laugh was sitting in front of us. And I'm like, I think I need to be friends with her. I don't know her, but she looks like a winner. And so we connected. She absolutely was our third wheel, but man, we just hit it off. I am like Jordan. I keep my sphere of plexus influence very small, for a lot of reasons. Number one, I prefer to keep my head down and drive. I mean, it's just in my nature. And I firmly believe that we allow distractions from the outside as a means of avoiding what makes us uncomfortable. And so I've just always tried to keep the distractions to a minimum. There's always going to be somebody with a new great idea that's getting quick results. There's always going to be somebody who's doing something else that maybe I should jump over here and do that. And I just made a decision early on to have someone in my circle that I could trust. And like I said, that's Britt. And so we just have kind of made a pact that we would protect the influence of our team. And that includes who we hang with. You guys have heard the saying, if you lay with dogs, you're going to get fleas. Now, not saying anyone in our company is that way, but everybody's got something. Everybody's got baggage and junk and trash and things. And I wanted to lay with the ones who were willing to deal with it and find solutions, not cast it off. And Jordan has always been that for me. She was, I mean, every conversation, it always, if there's a problem, it's always brought up with the idea of, hey, what's the best practice here? Speak truth right here. What is it that I need to hear? So anyways, we met there. And it's just been kind of a thing ever since. We ended up going to Jules school together. Jordan kicked my butt after we hit Emerald. I mean, totally kicked my tail. And I had a couple of choices. I could have either looked at her journey then during that period. I'm telling you, she was flying, and been jealous. I could have looked at that comparison, because guys, listen, people say comparison is a thief of joy. It is, but only if you allow it to be. You have a choice when you compare yourself to someone or circumstances. First of all, it's really natural to do so. Like, it's kind of impossible to not. If you see this and you recognize it's different than what you have a choice. You can either let that frustrate you and make their circumstance mean something about you, or you can let it inspire you. And that is just what I chose to do with Jordan. I just decided to let it inspire me. I knew we were real similar in personality, in sense of humor. I knew if she were having that kind of success, she just knew something I didn't know yet. And I felt very capable of figuring it out. I asked good questions. I was a student. I did not let ego or pride get in the way. I know the reason I keep my circle real small, right? Because ego and jealousy can bring up some not positive, fruit in people. And so when I have those feelings, I want to be able to communicate it and say, Jordan, help me grow here. not pity me, not let me sit in this, but what's working well, and would that be a good fit over here? So hit Emerald, took me 3.5 years to go Emerald. I always tell people that because I think until the last year, no one has even known my name. And now when that happens, and all of a sudden someone's name is known because they're a jewel trainer or contest or whatever, people think that's where the journey started. I was talking to Robin Sullivan. Her and I both get to be jewel trainers. And so of course she's like one of the greatest of all time. And so I pick her brain. I have lots of questions. She's another one that I absolutely trust. And she said, well, Christina, what's funny is people will message me and like congratulate me on my quick success. And they don't realize it's been 8.5 years. 8.5 years. I had no idea Robin had been doing this 8.5 years until we got to connect. I was guilty of thinking, man, this girl's come up and like blowing it out of the water. And it was really just the pressure of all of those years, like shaking up a 2-liter. And finally, the compound effect of consistency exploded. And that's kind of where Robin came on scene. And that would end up being how my story would play out. So just made it to Ruby, senior Ruby, totally rebuilt, totally, like there's not a soul left who was around before that. So if you're a Ruby or senior Ruby and you're like, how the HELL am I supposed to close this gap to Emerald? Just know the secret sauce is you. You close the gap. You don't sit and wait for your team to figure things out. You go inspire them by closing the gap. Here's what will happen. If you become laser focused on the right things, 4 pillars, all you got to know, and I'm not about to train you on that. Jordan knows the 4 pillars. Actually, we believe there's 5, but it's a story for another day. Then what will happen is you will start to do the things you wish your team was doing, and you'll be able to identify gaps in either their skill set or their mindset that's keeping them from doing the pillars. But sometimes you hit that Ruby or senior Ruby mark, or you're just hoping for Ruby or senior Ruby, and you start waiting. And then you get so far removed that you forget the mindset struggle of somebody who you're asking to make a first post. It's been so long since you've helped someone overcome that you can't figure out why your team's not duplicating. Well, because you're so far removed, you forgot that there's work to be done there. So anyways, 3.5 years, Emerald. I wish I could tell you that is where the fairy tale started. Not. It is not where the fairy tale started. I hit Emerald in April of 2019. Did not hit Emerald again, like at all. Which you guys, listen, until the rank of Sapphire, that has been my journey every single rank. There has never been a rank that I've hit and kept, ever. Anybody else? You're in good company. I know a lot of really, really successful jewels who make a ton of money, who have had that same journey. 4 steps forward, 19 steps back. 5 steps forward, 6 steps back. I did a training for my team not too long ago, and I actually took and mapped out my points for my entire journey, like on it kind of looked like a heart rate monitor. But I did it because I wanted them to see more times than not, over 60% of the time, my points were down and not up. So if I were to look at my results on paper, when everybody else is saying, this isn't working for me, I could have said the same darn thing. I could have said the same thing. But what I learned is that it's never this in network marketing, ever. And if it is, if you see somebody's journey who's this, just know this is how it typically ends up. And then it'll do that again. More often it's this. And that was my journey. I mean, never kept a rank. I wanted to keep a rank, and that it created a lot of mindset stuff that I had to work through. But the point is I worked. So April, I hit Emerald. I went to Hawaii in September, and it was a literal dream come true. Well, I don't know if you know this, but type 3 struggle with scarcity and fear, not for the fact that I desperately needed that trip again. I could have bought the trip, right? But 3s really struggle with shame. Shame of what not earning something must mean about me in the eyes of others. So January of 2020 rolled around. I had not hit Emerald again. You guys know, in order to go on the trip the second time, you have to maintain Emerald 5 times. Okay. And I was just in a rough spot. And I didn't realize I was consumed with fear, but I had started perusing the Jewel page. Don't recommend it. Matter of fact, we kind of tell our Jewels, stay the heck out of that page. Don't go in it. It doesn't matter. Stay out. So that's just word to the wise. If you ever hit Jewel, stay out of the page. But I had started reading stuff and it was affecting me. My mindset was not healthy and it was affecting me. And Brittany and I got on the phone January of 2020. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in the parking lot at my kids' private school, their little preschool. And you could just hear, she was devastated. I mean, totally heartbroken. And basically it was a breakup call. She was like, Christina, I have tried and tried to tell you how to grow. I've tried and tried to tell you that it's not something that you have to do. You're the doingest person on our team. Like you're always a top recruiter. You're the most doing human ever. It's who you must become. And you're unwilling to grow. And she was right. All those books, like we did book study, we still do. All of them. I would start them and I would end them. And then the only other chapter I would read would be the chapter I had to teach, right? Because we would take turns teaching chapters. And so it felt like a waste of time. As a 3, I like things that feel productive quickly, and growth did not. It was hard for me. I don't generally dabble in things that are difficult for me. Like I want to be excellent. And if things feel fuzzy, I tend to avoid them. And growth for me feels fuzzy. I'll be honest with you. I read every single day now. I have to work really hard at it. Really hard at it. I can recruit till the cows come home. I can post. I can be vulnerable. I can do all of those things. Tell me to grow. And I'm telling you, I have to fight, but I fight now. Anyway, so she said, there's nothing, you're not willing. Like you're not willing. You're never going to attract better people until you become better. You're never going to be equipped to lead the people that you do attract until you become better. You're unwilling. And at this point, the emotional energy that I'm expending as your leader is not worth it. And I feel like I'm losing my best friend, but I'm telling you, I love my family more, and I'm going to go be successful without you. And I was like, hold up, like, hold up. Like, what do you need me to do to make sure that don't happen? She's like, I just need you to grow. And I'm like, all right, well, why didn't you just say that before now? Like, you let me go 3.5 years. And she's like, I've been telling you this. I mean, she had gotten Fallon on the phone with me, all this, I mean, for years, you guys, years. So something just switched that day. I just decided that really it was probably a little bit of defiance. I'm like, fine, I will do it their way, and I will show them that it still won't work, that there's something wrong with me and it won't work. And so I just probably begrudgingly started reading, and I started reading with a leadership lens, which again, she had told me that all the time and it never made any sense. Fuzzy. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Like, when I read, what do you want me to do with what I'm reading? You guys, I'm very well educated. I have multiple graduate degrees, which is what makes this so funny. But I've always read for a purpose. Like, hey, go learn about this special education disability. Go learn about what, like, it's always been pinpointed of what I'm supposed to learn. So she really had to kind of like handhold, like, okay, you need to go work on the leader who is inside of you. Like, you can't worry about fixing everybody else. Like, you got to slow down to speed up. And so I did. I just decided to invest in growth, and I asked a bunch of questions, and she held me accountable for like, hey, what are you learning today? And she knew obviously 100% if I was learning, because I was so eager to bring her takeaways. Guys, I know my team's working and learning when I'm hearing from them. If I'm having to hunt them down after a team call or after a book club, what it tells me is they are checked out. They're the ones IPAing while Jordan's team calling. You know what I mean? And so I did. I just decided to become a student of leadership. I had won enough. I felt that feeling at the shopping spree. Like, man, I thought I would walk in and feel like I own this place. And instead I walked in and was like, I missed the mark. I'm here by myself. How much more fulfilling if I had my girls with me. But I was so consumed with my own goals and my own arrogance that it had never occurred to me to lay that aside and just help them win. Which, you guys, if you were to sit down and figure out mathematically, helping them win is the quickest, most surefire way to get to a win for yourself. But I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the forest through the trees, or whatever that saying is. So that's what I did. I just started growing. Now, here's what I want you to know. Here's some things to know. It is not okay to say, I'm in a sucky season of my business, and so that is what it is. During this sucky season, my team had no idea. They never knew I was not maintaining my rank. I carried myself like a diamond still. I'm telling you, I was still the hardest worker, still a top recruiter, top silver developer. I'm telling you, I still was doing the things that were required. I wasn't doing them to the depth that I could have. But I mean, as far as on paper, my team never knew. It is not an excuse for you to say, I'm in a hard season of my business. I'm just going to slow down to speed up and slow your activity. That is not what I'm talking about. When I say slow down to speed up, I mean, get laser focused on the one thing that must be mastered first and focus the learning there, but the activity stays. It's not both and. It's not during this season, I'll grow my business, and during this season, I'll grow myself. It's both and. Both and. But what I was not being successful in was trying to learn all the things everywhere. None of it made any sense. It'd be kind of like being a new mom, and instead of learning about pregnancy and birth and infant life, you just kind of choosing a teenage book one day, counseling your young married couple the next day, how to teach somebody how to drive, potty training. Like, it would be kind of like that. That's how I was treating growth. So when I say slow down to speed up, I mean in the area of growth. Like, get laser focused on what it is you need to learn. Or in my case now, I get laser focused on what is it that my team is not getting right? Like, what's missing? And then I go master that. If I'm duplicating, they're not. Why? What's missing? So slow down to speed up in your growth, but you don't get to bail on your activity. You don't. So anyways, team had no idea. I just decided to make some changes. And so I did. I recruited somebody in March that I had been following up with for over a year. And man, the compound effect of all of that really transpired. I ended up hitting Sapphire in June, which allowed me to go on the trip. I figured out in either February or March that obviously I was out of time to earn Emerald extravaganza as an Emerald. So my only other option, which was like a shot in the dark, because y'all, I was at 900 points, was I got to figure out how to go Sapphire. From not maintaining Emerald, like, I got to go Sapphire by July so I can get back to Hawaii. And we did. We ended up going Sapphire in June, Diamond in July, re-entry Diamond in August. I re-entered as Silver in September, Senior Silver, August, Gold, Senior Gold, Ruby, Senior Ruby, back to back to back to back to back. So say all that, not to brag, first of all, because like I said, anytime that business is like this, just know it almost always has to do this to go back up. So it's just normal. Now that I understand the process, it's normal. So if you've been in this a long time and you feel like you got problems, just know people who come in like this, they got problems. I have several girls on my team. They came in like this and they got problems because there's a lot to learn. So if you've had years to learn it, your problems are different. If you came in and shot up, your problems are different. Everybody got problems. The good news is you're all going to end up at the same spot. All going to end up at the same spot. Okay. So I had all these notes, and this is the first time I've even woke this thing up. This is a remarkable tablet, y'all. That's another tip of advice. Get one of these. Where are we on time? Okay. What changed? That's all well and good. But if you walk away and you're like, well, that was a cool story, Christina, way to go. Good for you. Then that will not have been effective. What I need you to know is what changed for me. How did I go from a not maintaining Emerald, struggling immensely with scarcity? The thought always for me is, can I get there? Then when I got there, it was, can I keep it? And then when I couldn't keep it, it became just this mountain of a thing. Like it was a me problem at that point. And so what changed? Very tangible things for me changed. Number one, I adopted a personal growth plan. I mean, that's just, guys, if you're not growing, you cannot expect high quality people to take you seriously. Why would they follow you if you're not willing to grow versus someone who is like, hey, I'm a mess. I don't have it figured out, but I'm learning along the way. Be learning. And listen, what's so frustrating is I know that this is falling on deaf ears. Some of you are already learning and you're like, yes, all right, I'm doing this. And some of you are me and you're thinking, this is not for me. This is for all those other ones on this call. Like, hurry up and tell me what to do, Christina. I know that's what some of you are thinking, because it's exactly what I would think. When Sonia Dudley would come do team calls, I'm like, oh, that's well and good, Sonia. You love everybody, hug everybody. That's not me. Tell me what to do, Sonia. But you got to learn. You got to be willing to grow. Or I'm telling you, the people that you're saying, I wish I could recruit so-and-so like Jordan. I wish I could have a Callie on my team. Listen, people like Callie don't follow people who aren't willing to grow. Got to grow. Okay. Number two, I learned that casting vision had to come from a place of genuine conviction of what this opportunity could mean for a person, not what the person could mean for my opportunity. Let me tell you that again. I learned that casting vision had to come from a genuine conviction for what this opportunity could mean for that person, not what that person could do for my opportunity. Guys, people can smell your motive a mile away. And listen, most of the time they don't even mind a motive or an agenda. They just mind a hidden agenda. So if I'm coming from a place of, I need them to do this for me, they smell it a mile away. Mile away. So I had to get real clear on what I had to offer other people and why. Like, I had to really spend time for those on my list, my hot list of who I wanted to do this with. I had to spend time thinking, what would their life look like if they were willing to see what I see? Like, spend a lot of time thinking and then being able to articulate that to them in a way that's not, hey, come do this with me. Hey, it'll be so fun. Come on, come do this with me. Oh my gosh, please. Like, I really spent some time getting very, very clear on what this opportunity would mean for their family. And then I followed that conviction through the entire follow-up process. Guys, I'm a firm believer, 8 to 12 exposures for a product user, exact same plus more for an opportunity person. If there's somebody that has potential on your team and you've only mentioned the opportunity 7 or 8 times to them, all you've done is loosen the lid for the next person. If you're not willing to follow up, save your breath for the first time. Don't even bother. You're wasting their time and it comes across so phony. It's a hit on your credibility. Your lack of follow-up is a hit on your credibility. It means that you don't really actually believe what you said in that voice message the first time. Because if you really felt that, you would have come back and said it again and again. If my house was on fire, you wouldn't just make one suggestion that I should use a water hose. You'd be like, hey, you sure? Like, I know you've got one, but I got an extinguisher and like I have a ladder and I can call the 911 and like, what do you need? You'd continue to call it out because you have firm belief. If you didn't, I'd probably burn up in my house. If you're not willing to follow it up, save your breath. And I mean that with all love, for real. But it makes our industry look some type of way. It hits our credibility. Don't do that. If you really believe that they should do what you're doing, follow that conviction through. It will build your credibility, even if they never respond until the 19th follow-up. I think Robin said she followed up with Rhea. I'm over 100 times. A Jewel on her team, over 100 times. Even if they don't respond, when they finally do, and I'm a firm believer that they all do, it will have built your credibility. They will know that your belief in what you have to offer is so incredibly high. You were willing to risk all of that rejection because you believe so firmly in them and in what you have to offer. Okay, so I learned casting vision was about them. I have all kinds of training on how I cast vision, and I have a flow chart. It's all on my YouTube. I'm sure Jordan has that for you guys, but my team loves flow charts. It's like a thing lately. Okay, last thing. I know I'm out of time. Here we go. I learned, this is a shocker for me. I'm a sports person, okay? But I learned that training and coaching are two different skills. Y'all know that? Yeah. Imagine how shocked I was to learn that. So I love to train. I'm a teacher by trade. I always knew I would be a teacher. I love to facilitate. Nothing thrills me more than taking something that feels complex and breaking it down and helping people learn and like solving people's problems. Except for that is the opposite of what a coach does. And we are highly paid life coaches. Diamonds and jewels, really, Ruby and above. You are an overpaid life coach. And I spent so much time trying to fix my people instead of just listening, instead of being willing to for them to be heard and process and guide. I was just trying to get in and fix. I was doing what I thought I wanted Brittany to do all those years. I was going and telling them what to do. Well, go do this. Like, okay, this isn't happening in your business. Go do this instead. And I had skill set down. Listen, I was crushing the skill set training, but I missed the fact that 80% of this business is mindset. And a coach is what you need to get through mindset. So here's what I did. I became real vulnerable. I said, Brittany, come listen to me coach my people. I'm missing the mark. Like, I'm not for them what you are for me. And I don't know why. Like, is it them? Is it me? What is it? I was willing to be completely naked and say, come listen. Was I nervous? Sure. You know what I wanted more than that though? Hunger to change my family's life. I was willing to be humiliated or feel ridiculous or her to think, my gosh, you are really an idiot. Like, I didn't care. It didn't matter to me what she thought afterward. I knew she could help me. Even if she was like, oh my gosh, Christina, like, how do you even make the money that you do make? So I did. I let her listen in on coaching calls. And then I was very open to the critical feedback. Now, here's the thing. Don't invite critical feedback and then be an emotionally immature crybaby. You can't invite someone to come in and pick you apart and then crybaby about their responses. You know what happens if you're emotionally immature when someone gives you critical feedback? They become less willing to give you critical feedback. It's not worth the emotional energy at that point. So if you're going to invite the feedback, be able to handle it. Be able to handle it. And so I just said, okay, tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. And Brittany, she's a great coach. So she knew to sandwich something good, all the things to improve, and then something decent at the end. Bless her heart. Sometimes the thing at the end was, at least you're funny, Christina. Got that going for you. Love you, dude. And so I did. That's what I did. And we just, it was really actually very helpful for both of us in our leadership because she was able to recognize, man, if this is such a huge gap for this jewel on my team, at the time I was her only jewel. She's like, man, this must be a gap everywhere. And so this was an area where we got to slow down to speed up, and we really honed in on how to become great coaches. And we've got a team full of great coaches now. We have rank specific coaching. We just got some things figured out in that area. And that is really what has allowed us to separate the people who want to try this from those who want to do this, because you cannot make that determination based off of results on paper. You have to make that determination based off of what they're saying to themselves and what they're thinking and what their long-term vision is. So those are some tangibles. Bottom line, when this call is over, I hope that you hit leave meeting and you think, you know what, if that girl over there, that train wreck of a girl over there can figure things out and make what a brain surgeon makes, by golly, so can I. Because y'all listen, this is just, if you know Jordan's real, as real as the day is long, so am I. I don't even have, I have on Barefoot Dreams pajama shorts, you guys. Like, I don't even have on real pants. Y'all can do this. Y'all can do this. And I don't care how unachievable the goal feels. I'm telling you, 900 points. And I had 4 months to hit Sapphire. There was no reason to think that anybody was going to jump in and join me at that point. There was no reason to think that my team was going to catch the vision again and reignite. And I'm here to tell you they will. It's a process. You want to reignite somebody, go be the spark. Go be the spark of your own team. That's all I got, Joe.
Well, I want to ask this, and then there's some questions in the comments I'm going to pull back to, but I know what I did to rebuild, and personal growth was a big part of it. I actually read books. I listened to calls that were longer than 5 minutes. I took notes. You know what I mean? And my calendar was full of events, phone calls. What did that rebuilding season look like for you? There are so many girls on this call that have a goal of Emerald this year. So
Yeah.
what does that look like?
If you're, first of all, it would be events on my calendar every single month. And listen, more than that, for me at that stage, I was doing sip and see, anybody that I could drive to, and really depending on your circumstance, anybody you can get to who has a potential to get 5, 6 people in a room. I'm going there. I'm going there to do a sip and see. And it's 2 bangs for your buck. You're getting to obviously show people what we have to offer with Plexus, but more than that, you're building your belief of your girl, for her to see that it's worth the investment for you to come and pour into her. She's getting to hear again, why the products, why do I have this belief, third-party validation, events, y'all, and then train your team. Even better if you can have a sip and see first hour, training second hour. I don't care if you don't know what the heck to train on. You guys, we were doing these events at Silver, at Gold. We didn't have jewels around us to do the stuff for us. We couldn't plug into the Diamonds event online. Like we didn't. We did it. I was hosting this for you, if you girls who want to go Emerald this year, Silver and Above suppers quarterly. People who are silver and above, get them together, have supper. Guys, listen, you can afford 5 boxes of spaghetti and 5 jars of spaghetti sauce. It don't got to be fancy. Potlucks, whatever sporting season it is, you guys get together and have a tailgate. I would be getting in front of your people and casting vision. Learn how to cast vision. Go to my YouTube. There's a video there called, I don't know, the Fruit, Fuel, and Fruition. I'll send Jordan the link, but I have an outline. The only reason I said, there's great vision casting calls everywhere, but we have an outline for this. And I would recommend go in front of small pockets of your team. This is if you're gold or above probably, and say, hey, listen, I see that you're working so-and-so, you knew silver, and I want to do something so special and so exclusive for you. I'd love for you to get 3 or 4 people who have either joined Plexus or who are open to it, and let me just cast some vision for them. Yes, will it take 45 minutes of your time to cast vision on a Zoom? Sure will. And I would be doing it every single night of the week if I had to. I am not even kidding. If you want to earn 6 figures, work like you deserve 6 figures. It won't always be that way, but you got to push that snowball. Got to get it rolling, sister. Got to get it rolling. So it looked like events for me. In whatever form or fashion. Now, here's the thing. Any of them will work. I don't care if you're doing chat event. I don't do chat events, but they're working. Any of them will work if you'll be consistent. Be consistent. I don't care if no one shows up the first time, do a second one. Nobody shows up second time, do a third one. Just be consistent in whatever you decide to do.
I can't tell you how many times my first 2 years I would schedule a power hour and no one would come.
we would have community sip and sees at Panera Bread, and we'd show up. I'd have 5 or 6 workers there, and really quickly realized there was not going to be a sip and see today. We're going to turn this into a training.
Yeah.
And we did. Turned it into a training, and it's fine.
It's normal. It's normal.
Normal. So normal.
All right. What are some of your favorite books that you've read along the way? That was Lindsay Rim who had that question.
Hi, Lindsay Rim. Success is a Choice. Y'all listen, it was my idea that the Jewels at Jewel School got that book. Okay. Success is a Choice. Totally one of my faves. Right now I'm going back through 21 Laws. So we've done it. It's probably our 5th or 6th time. 5 Levels, which I know Joe Ro's working on. Oh, you know what's my favorite? Listen, I want to do this as our next book club. Essentialism. Anybody read that? Fantastic. And then as far as the leadership specific, Life-Giving Leader is a great one. Tyler Reagan. Probably one of my favorites, but you cannot go wrong with John Maxwell. Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 was a game changer for me. And if you do that one, then I suggest developing the leaders around you.
Mm-hmm. So someone else asked, and you could, I plan on cutting this off at 9. So if you need to go before that, you just tell me to shut up. How do you stay laser focused, help your team grow, and not fall into management mode while you're doing it?
I think the management mode. So here's the thing. I believe certain times, certain parts of your business require management mode. If I have somebody new, not management mode, hand holding, if you will. If I have somebody new up and running, until I get them to about senior silver or gold, I'm hand holding. I'm asking, hey, how's it going chatting with people? What kind of responses are you getting? It's going well? Good. Why do you think it's going well? I'm asking a bunch of questions. I'm connecting every day, just in voice messages. How do I stay laser focused? I time block. Number one, that helps a ton. If you guys watch any of my stuff, you're going to know, I mean, I time block by the hour. I time block in everything. I mean, time with my husband, like everything. I just do. I mean, you have an hour time block for IPA, nothing else interrupts that. I don't care if your teammate calls you and has just a crisis, like, this is my IPA time block. Like there's never an emergency in network marketing. If I'm supposed to be doing new contacts for 25 minutes and a girl that I've been following up with for 8 years finally is ready to join, guess what? She's going to wait until the follow-up time block. I'm in new contacts. Guys, listen, people, but listen, I just made a video about this the other day. People say, I just wish I had your discipline. I just wish I had your discipline. You're in the gym. You're so disciplined. You track your macros. You're so disciplined. You guys, discipline is a choice. You know how you can have my discipline? You just decide today, I'm going to be disciplined. It's just a choice. I could easily make a different choice. I could just go in there and eat the cupcakes from Rhett's party if I wanted to. But instead, I want to keep my promise to myself to not do that. So how do you be disciplined? You keep promises to yourself. That's how I keep that. I don't remember the other question. How do you help your team grow? You inspire them by being successful without them. I'm a firm believer that you do not wait for, you cannot motivate someone. You cannot, it is impossible. You can't rah them on to victory. You can't bribe them. Golly, please don't try to incentivize them. If you got to beg them to get going, you're going to have to beg them to keep them. Don't convince, go inspire. You can inspire them. And inspiring someone requires action on your part. So you want to know how to help people be successful, go be successful, and then analyze, why is this working for me? And is this working for them? If not, where's the gap and how can I fill it?
A lot of what you're saying is people have to choose discipline, right? Like you have to want to choose to be disciplined. And for me, I knew I was going to be diamond. I knew it was possible. I had reasons, right? Like I had a big belief. So can you tell me, like, where did that come from for you when it got hard? How did you stick with it? Because it's going to get hard.
Yeah, well, that's so funny. So this is a really interesting story. One time we were going for Senior Ruby and rallied my whole team, went to sleep at the end of the month, Senior Ruby. Like I told my family we had hit it. It was back before back office changed over, bless it. And woke up the next day and I missed Senior Ruby, you guys, by less than a person. Woke up 7:48. Awkward. Talk about awkward. You done announced that you Senior Ruby and you ain't even Senior Ruby. Like, oh, gosh, I'm telling you, if it could happen, it has happened to me, just so you know. And I had a girl on a team, on my team. She's a sideline, was a sideline. She gone. But she messaged me and she's like, oh my gosh, like, are you going to quit? I would totally quit now. Like, I cannot even imagine coming back from that. And I remember thinking, quit? I'm so damn close. Why would I quit now? Like, look how close I got. And so I probably do have a tendency of having an optimistic personality. Again, I think you can choose which side you're going to veer to. And I just, man, I don't have any quit in me. And it for me, it wasn't rocket science. I could see other people doing it. So it would be different if no one was doing it. Like, I think about the 4-minute mile, you know, Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile barrier, right? No one had ever done it. Is that his name? I hope that's his name. One time I said something and I meant to say Albert Einstein and instead I said Thomas Edison, but they're both famous and both guys and they're both important. But I think his name's Roger. Anyway, he wanted to break the 4-minute mile rule. Never been done before. He trained and trained and trained and trained. He eventually did. And that same year, something like 16 other people did. So I probably wouldn't have been Roger. Okay. But I could have been one of them 16. I just needed to know, are other people doing this? And they were doing it successfully, repeatedly. So to me, that just meant I got to be willing to do what they're doing. And I was willing to sacrifice. I was willing to invest in growth. I was willing to give up things temporarily. I was willing to get my family's buy-in. I was just willing to learn. I was willing to be a disaster in order to eventually become a master. And man, that's what I did. I just decided to become a student of network marketing. I think that's probably also what built my ability to continue. Is I had a rock solid belief in this industry, and I still do. That was one of the first things that I got laser focused on learning. And that was actually before I decided personal growth was dumb. And that before that 3-year rebellion, I read Millionaire by Halftime. Obviously I read GoPro. John Maxwell came out with Power of 5 during that time. So I built my belief really solidly in network marketing. And I knew as a teacher, there was no chance in where for me to ever find freedom. So just the glimmer of possibility that I could find freedom financially was enough to keep me going. I mean, if not this, then what? There was nothing else that was potentially, maybe one day, hopefully, going to pay me what this pays me ever, no matter how hard I taught, how many lives I changed, or how cute my bulletin board was. So my husband just texted me and said, it is Roger Bannister. See, look, he and they're looking
He's
out for
such a
me.
good person.
Such a good dude. I'll keep him.
We just announced a Ruby retreat, and a lot of the girls on here are going to have to double points in order to make it.
Oh, you can totally do it.
Totally possible.
Totally possible. What
do they need to know? Tell them, like, what would you tell somebody?
You got to senior gold. Go help someone do what you've done. If you just went and created a senior gold, there's your double points. Go create a brand new person. Here's what's really going to happen. Here's how mathematically it's going to go up. You're going to go create 5 new silvers. When do they have to earn this by?
March, 3 months.
Okay. So you're going to go and recruit probably 5 or 6 people this month, maybe more. Cast really big vision and then say, if I were to help you every single step of the way, would you be willing to run with me? Like, be vulnerable. Let them know, like, this is what our team's doing. This is what we're building. This is what we want to be a part of. Cast big vision, handhold, make sure that you're helping and you're listening. If they're telling you that they're wanting to do something and they're not doing it, why? Hey, listen, I can tell that this is holding you back from making that post. Tell me what's going on, girl. Be willing to empathize, feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. That rejection, that is nerve-wracking. But let me tell you, what if you were actually able to help somebody with a tremendous health victory? Like, wouldn't that be worth the risk of rejection? So casting big vision, go back and follow up with people who are already on their products. I don't care if you've offered the opportunity 19 times, offer it a 20th time. Offer to be a power partner. Tell them that you want somebody to run with and why you want it to be them, and mean it. Mean it. And then run together. Guys, we have people who are fast start gold all the time. All the time. Get a fast start gold in January. Help somebody be fast start gold in February. Figure it out. Figure it out. And then also remember, goal is diamond. Goal is diamond. Work today like you're going to be a diamond. You're muted. Amateur.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Because the truth, I just love that there's no sugarcoating. I'm sure everybody on this call can appreciate that there's no sugarcoating and there's no perfect way to get where she is. And she has failed forward a lot. She has a really good husband who's basically kept her afloat the whole time. So
yeah. I won't let him hear you say that.
So Callie had a question, but maybe you can send this to me, or if you think it's a short question.
I mean, if it's for Callie, I'll probably do anything she needs.
Callie got to go, y'all, she heard Christina talk about Jewel School. So Callie got to go. Katie was going, but she got sick and she's probably like throwing up right now, just me reminding her of that whole thing. But she said, tell them what happened after Sapphire. And I don't even know what that means.
What happened after Sapphire?
Callie, maybe you remember.
Yeah, Christina, hi. Thanks for saying
Hi.
that.
I miss you.
I know. I miss you too. So I remember you saying that like it was a struggle. And then once you hit you hit the next rank and then the next rank and then the next rank. And it was like nothing but growth from there.
Yeah, it was momentum. It was just the compound effect of momentum. Here's what happened. So my girl Terry joined. I just saw that she's on this call. I sent her to bed early tonight, y'all. She don't listen. See, go recruit people who don't quit. Terry joined. Terry went Emerald in 3 months. Okay. Here's what happened. When you create a runner, first of all, Terry told me no for over a year. Talk about following up with somebody 20 times. I did it to her. No. All of a sudden, yes. Okay. Well, now we're Emerald in 3.5 months. So it was worth the follow up. But what happens is I went and found a spark. And then all of a sudden, other legs of my team caught fire. Here's what happens. They see you go and recruit somebody and they're like, oh, I don't want to, like, I want to go too. Like, I don't want to be left behind. And so they start doing what you're doing. I was able to say, hey guys, my girl Terry just joined. Here was the process of me getting her from a no to a yes. And I was able to train specifically on what I had just overcome. It was relatable because I could say, this is what I did. Then I could say, okay, here's this new person she wants to share. I analyzed every single thing that I was doing with Terry and telling them exactly what I was doing. But you guys, here's what I don't want you to miss. I didn't kick my feet up and say, oh, Terry's here. Okay, great. She'll be an Emerald. April went Diamond very quickly. Then Abby went Emerald. So I could have just set back. Here's what I don't want you to miss. I think this is sometimes even as powerful of a testimony of the Sapphire Diamond re-entry is when you re-enter, and I don't know if you've even told him any of this, Jordan, but you start over. Like your re-entry team gets no benefit from your Diamond team. Okay. Like I'm my own level 1. So I started over in total warm market 5 years in, and I went fast start senior Ruby. Now, again, this is not a matter of showboating or anything like that. I'm just telling you, it's a simple set of skills that when you get good at, you can repeat over and over. It's why the sky is the limit. It's why I never have to worry about running out of people to talk to, or will this ever dry up? I've learned the skills and I understand the process of repeating it. And so I created a new team, totally separate from my Diamond team. This team doesn't get to benefit at all. I don't get any kickback on this team. And I'm telling you, even 5 years in my total cold market, starting completely from scratch, fast start senior Ruby. So I don't buy, and this was after the wave of the 2020 springtime. So I say that to say, I don't buy it when somebody says, well, I'm in a cold market, so it's just going to have to take me longer. Bull. Momentum is an energy. It is not a result. So check your pulse. Do you have momentum energy? If not, you can create it. Create the energy.
And I love that you said creating is most likely you going and doing and then teaching. Do it, teach it.
Yes.
Do it, teach it. Their team
Yes.
page, you guys, is massive. They've got Christina and Brittany and all these April all on one team page. And it's just like someone goes and does something, they teach it. Someone goes and does something, they teach it. Welcome post, teach. It's awesome. Christina, I'm so proud of you and I'm so thankful for you. And I just love you. So thank y'all so much for coming to our Tuesday call. It's probably might be the last one I'm on for a couple of weeks, hopefully. And if y'all think about it, say a little prayer for Katie Woodruff, because I think she might actually be giving birth right now. So
so fun.
A home birth.
A home birth. Yeah.
Girl
So
is a beast.
extra prayers. Home birth, Katie Woodruff. Anyway. All right.
Definitely will.
Thank y'all. Bye.
See y'all.